Hey guys, welcome to another Licks live stream. Today I'm gonna give you a quick tip on how to get some sexy blues licks happening by using a kind of a method, a thought that I use a lot. It's just a little trick, requires a tiny bit of theory talk, and so we'll do that. I'll play around with it a little bit, show you what I'm talking about, and I'll also obviously show you a lick that you can walk away with. The lick comes from a jam track that I put out very recently, and that jam track is linked below. So I'm basically going to teach you a little snippet of a solo that I played a little while ago on a track that came out. So if you want to see the full solo that this lick comes from, you can click the jam track linked below. You'll be able to also obviously practice the licks and practice the concept on that jam track. And if you want to get the tab as well, the tab is linked below as well. So it's on my Patreon where absolutely all of my tabs go. If you want to go and check out my Patreon, that is where you'll find my tabs, my scale maps, my lessons, basically everything to do with sharing knowledge and helping you guys play better. So yeah, it's all there on Patreon, and appreciate the community and the support very much on there. So there we go, guys. I'm gonna play you the lick a couple of times again. So we're basically in the key of E. We're playing blues in E. But this trick here is to do with how you can think about the 4 chord. So obviously in a standard blues, we're talking like standard blues format, right? So in a standard blues format, you've got 7 chords or major chords. Let's call them 7 chords. So you got E7, you've got A7 for the 4 chord, you've got B7 for the 5 chord. So what I want to talk about is how we can think about the 4 chord. It's just a way that it makes it easier to come up with really sexy kind of licks, and one that I use all the time. So yeah, there we go. Like I said, I want to play it for you one more time. Let me know where you are in the world, guys. I always love to hear where everybody's at. And also, leave a like, and remember to subscribe if you haven't already, and click that bell. Appreciate the support very much, guys. All right, let's do it. Do it one more time. So I love that kind of sound. This is just pure Dorian mode, E Dorian. So, the keynote being the C sharp, which is the major 6 of E, which also, if you look at it from the perspective of A, is the major 3rd. So that's really the defining color and the one that makes it, melodic and kind of sexy. In my ears, anyway. Okay, so I'm going to teach you exactly how to play that lick, and then we'll talk about how you can develop that, further as well. But actually, before I play the lick, or before I show you exactly how to play the lick, let's talk about the theory for just a moment. So obviously when you play on dominant chords, well, if you were to play by the book, so to speak, you know, you would want to play, if you want to play a 7-note scale on a dominant chord, you would usually play the Mixolydian mode, right? So that's like a major scale, but with a flat 7 to reflect the fact that there's a flat 7 in a dominant chord. So it would be E7 and E Mixolydian. Now, for the A7, it would be A Mixolydian. And for the B7, it would be B Mixolydian. Okay, those are 3 different scales, which sucks a little bit when you're trying to play the blues and just, you know, make sense musically. Do you know what I mean? So what I like to do, which, you know, all of you that are already connected with me on Patreon, you know, in the scale maps, what I love to do is think of it from the key of E. Always think from the key that you're in. So in this case, we're in the key of E, right? So instead of thinking E Mixolydian, switching to A Mixolydian and switching to B Mixolydian, I like to think of it all as still in the key of E, because it is. And then, you know, you see the scales from the perspective of E, because E is your home, your hometown, you know, your root note. So, and that doesn't change just because you're on the 5 chord or the 4 chord. So I believe that it makes for much more melodic playing when you're thinking from, always thinking, you know, about which key you're in. So, you know, so it's not to be like just running up and down scales for each chord. You know, that sounds like music to very few people. Do you know what I mean? So what I like to do is think, well, what is A Mixolydian when you look at it from the perspective of E? Well, it is actually the same as E Dorian mode, right? So, bing, bing, bing. Basically, when you're playing the 1 chord, the E7, and you go to the 4 chord, the A7, all you got to do, if you're thinking E Mixolydian on the 1 chord, all you got to do, and this works for any blues in any key, obviously, all you got to do is, instead of thinking E Mixolydian now, you think E Dorian for the 4 chord. And if you look at it, it's these 7 notes here for the E Mixolydian. If you look at it, it's only 1 note difference. Okay, you go from E Mixolydian there to E Dorian. That note is flat. And then the rest is the same. Okay, so the 1 note difference, the G sharp becomes a G natural. That is the only change between a 1 chord and a 4 chord. So if you can paint that change with your playing, you're off to a great start. See what I'm saying? So that's really the theory behind it. And also, if you want to look at the B, we won't be playing, I won't be doing licks for that one just now, but if you want to look at B7, you know, the 5 chord, well, if you look at B Mixolydian in the context of E, well, that's like playing an E major scale. So all you got to think on a blues like that is E Mixolydian, then E Dorian for the 4 chord, and then E major for a brief moment for the 5 chord. So that, I believe, that kind of way of thinking is going to make you play more melodically, because you're always thinking that, you know, the key is E, and you're not just running scales for each like chord wherever it happens. Do you know what I mean? So that's the thing. That's the trick, you know, to think of it as coming from E. That all you're doing is changing from E Mixolydian to E Dorian. You can really come up with some sexy stuff that way. Yeah, so to help you on the way to coming up with some sexy lines for this kind of way of thinking, I thought I would teach you how to play That one of the phrases from that recent blues is blues in E, but it's got a kind of lo-fi groove, so it's not a standard like shuffle. It's more of a groove kind of blues. So I've set up a little loop, and obviously, like I said, you know, you can always check out the track and the full solo below and get the tab as well. But let's dive into this little lick here. So this is all E Dorian, and then it resolves there on the one chord, the E7. So here we go. 2, 3. Just do it one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so we actually start in the 4, so beat 4 of the E7. So, and we got a little bit of a jazzy phrase. I'm using one naughty note, you know, one bit of chromaticism that's crept in there. Okay, actually 2, if you count that one as well. So we got 19 on the A string. And I'm actually using my thumb for all of this. I'm just using my thumb just now because that's what I did in the solo, which the solo was completely improvised. But I was using my thumb, so I just, you know, in order to play it exactly like that, we're going to use our thumb here. So you can use your pickup. That works just as well. But I'm using my thumb here. So 19 with your 3rd finger on the A string. Then you're going to pull off from 18 to 17. Like that, and then you're gonna go back up to 19. Okay, those are the first 4 notes, which happen on the beat 4 of the first bar here. So, okay, and then now we go into the to the 4 chord, to the A7, and we're gonna start by sliding into this note, which is that C sharp I was talking about, you know, at the very start. And that's really the sexy note to learn how to you know, hit for the 4 chord. It's that note there, which is, if you see it from the relation of the, you know, from the point of view of the key, it's the major 6. If you see it from the A7 chord, it's the major 3rd. All right, so you're sliding into that from 15 to 16 on the A string with your 1st finger, like that. So the first part was like that. It's a pretty classic little jazz lick, actually. There you go. And now we're going to do a little bit of a run up like this. It's sort of an arpeggiated way of thinking. Like that. You can think of it also as a pentatonic way of thinking. Anyway, I don't want to dive too deep into that. One concept at a time. But yeah, 15 to 16 on the A string. Then little finger on 19, still on the A string. Then 2nd finger on 17 on the D string. And then 16 and 18 on the G string. With your 1st and 3rd fingers. And then 2nd finger on 17. 17 on the B string, yeah. And then you're gonna go 15, 17, 19 right there. Okay? So 1st finger, 2nd finger, 4th finger I like to use. Okay? So I'm really just trying to paint, you know, the colors, you know, the sexy colors, which, like I said, it's that C sharp there is a big part of it, and the G natural as well, which wasn't, you know, in the chord before. You know, it's not, when you're on the E7, there's no G natural, it's a G sharp. So it's super nice to paint that color as soon as you get to the 4 chord. Okay, and now we get into this sequence basically. Okay. Now you can pull off, if you like, from 19 to 15. And then we're gonna go third finger on 17, and then second finger on 17 on the B string, like that. All right. So we're about halfway through now. And so after 17 there on the B string, we're gonna slide the first finger from 15 to 14. Again into that sexy C sharp right there. And we're gonna go back up here to 17 on the B string with the little finger. Okay, so so far we've got 3. Okay, play that one more time. 3, 4. All right, so now we're gonna go third finger on 16 on the G string. Okay, so 16 on the G string, and then you're gonna bar with your first finger on 14, so you can go 14 on the B string and 14 on the G string. So, and you can do that kind of roll. And then you're gonna go 16 again on the G string. Then your little finger is gonna play 17 on the D string. Then again, your first finger is gonna bar on 14, but this time on the G string and the D string. Do the same kind of roll there. Okay, so that was. And then you're gonna go back out there to 17 on the D string with your little finger. So we got. Now we got a huge stretch. I just like that kind of thing. We go all the way down again to that sexy note, the C sharp. So that's 11th fret on the D string with your first finger. And then I'm gonna do this crazy stretch. If you don't like that stretch, you can grab the G note there on the 12th fret of the G string. But I'm gonna play it like this. So it's 11. And then stretching still on the D string all the way up to 17 with your little finger. Like that. And then second finger on 14, and then slide from 12 to 11 with your first finger, still on the D string. Like that. I love that kind of sound. Again, like I said, you know, you got the C sharp, which is the major third, and you've got the flat 7, you know, the G natural. They're really the two notes that really say, all right, hey, we're on the 4 chord, you know, because it's the major third and the flat 7 of the A7. So, and then we're nearly there. So after that, it just goes. It goes from 11, it goes back up to 12 and 14 with your second finger and fourth finger. And then you got a little slide again into the C sharp, but this time, just like up here actually, you know, from just 1 fret below, you're sliding up to it, just, you know, the jazzy principle of being able to slide into any note you like, really. So just sliding up to it from 1 fret below, so from 10 to 11. And then we're gonna resolve on the 5th of E. which is that B note there. So just chord tones, you know, I'm always thinking chord tones. Really, that's another trick, you know, to being able to play melodically and to play colorfully, you know, is knowing the chord tones and knowing, you know, how to spell those chord tones out. So yeah, landing on that chord tone, the B, which is the 5th of the E7 chord, and yeah, that's on the 9th fret of the D string. So one more time. That's it. 1, 2, 3. So I love to land on the major third on the 1 chord, and then change it to the G. Like I said, between that E Mixolydian and E Dorian, only 1 note difference, and it's that G sharp. So G sharp becomes G natural, and then G. So G natural, and then G sharp. So just play around with that. So you could also think, you know, pure E minor pentatonic, and then E major pentatonic. So yeah, many ways of thinking, but yeah, I hope that that little trick will help you guys. So, you know, think E Mixolydian on the 1 chord, think E Dorian on the 4 chord. Obviously, you know, as always, translate this idea to loads of other keys, you know, try it with different, you know, jam tracks that have different feel. You know, that's the way to really work it into your playing, you know, that kind of idea. And yeah, there we go. Hope you'll have tons of fun with the licks. And obviously with the jam track. Like I said, the jam track is linked below, and so is the tab. So you can get this tab. You can get basically think it's over 190 different tabs now. You can get access to all of those just like that on my Patreon. That's where they all are. And I'm adding new tabs all of the time. We have Licks live streams every Friday at 10 a.m. here on the channel. So tune in next week. And in the meantime, have a great time jamming. Hope you enjoy your weekend lots. I've got a new jam coming out tomorrow. And that one will actually have a full tab for the solo as well. That's going on Patreon as well. Hope you all will enjoy very much. And yeah, thanks for hanging out, guys. I will see you very soon. Have a great weekend. And, like I said, thanks for leaving a like and subscribe. Click that bell if you haven't already. It all helps, and I appreciate it very much. Take care, guys. I'll see you very soon.